Guys, what a job by our group tonight. So much respect for the 49ers. And I think what's really cool is this team has found a bunch of different ways to be able to win football games. You come off a 44-42 game the other day, and then you win 12-6. And, our group did what they needed to do to be able to get it done. And the defense just felt like they were coming up with, stop after stop. What a pick by Darius Williams. What a great job by Kobe Turner getting a couple sacks. Really proud of Josh Carty to be able to go 4 for 4. We needed every single one of those. And then thought as the game went on, we really struggled offensively. The weather was definitely a factor early on in terms of some of the things that limited what we could do. It was a lot more of an issue than I think probably what would have been recognized on the TV or even if you're just in the stadium. But there were times when it did slow down. And I thought Matthew made the plays that he needed to make. I thought Kyron ran really tough. We were able to sustain some drives. It felt like we stayed a little bit more connected in the run game in the second half to be able to at least sustain possession and move the football, get some first downs, run some clock off. And like we know we'd love to be able to finish those with touchdowns in the red area, but the Niners, they did a great job defensively. There's going to be some great things we can learn from, but we'll take the win. And like I said, I'm really proud of this football team. Not anything that I didn't expect, Jordan, but that he's steady, he's consistent, he's kind of unflappable. And he went out there, and even the long one, the 48-yarder, he knocked that thing true, and it was firm and had great trajectory on it. And then the next three were excellent. They're a little bit closer range, but he did a great job. I was really proud of him, but I don't know that I was too surprised.
Kyron had 29 carries in the Buffalo game. 4 days later, 29 carries. I think they were career highs.
Wow. Did not know that. Glad that he's got a few days of rest, Sam. I think the type of game that it ended up becoming would like a little bit more, opportunities to be able to get Blake going a little bit. But Kyron's a guy that we have so much trust in. You get into some of those situations where the latter parts of the game, it's a one-possession game, and he's the guy that's done a great job for us. And I love some of the responses he's had after a few weeks back. He's taken great care of the football. I think he's run really hard and tough. And he's a guy that brings such an energy to our football team. And I think guys thrive off of that. Love Kyron Williams. And, he sure had a bunch of energy after the game. So for him to be able to have 58 carries over the last 2 weeks is really impressive, or over the last 4 days, I should say. So we'll look forward to getting him healthy and rested and recovered. But he's been a stud. Been really proud of him. They're resilient. They always have the ability to respond. This is a young group that has demonstrated the ability to do that, Adam, and that's one of the things that I think has served this team well. And I also think it serves us well that there's different ways we can win a football game. Now, we'd like to be able to put it all together, but to be able to do that, that's a real strength, and that's something that we're going to take as a positive. And we're going to always use all of these games as learning opportunities. We're going to get ourselves recharged and refreshed and try to have a great week and see if we can put a complete game together. But for us to be able to win 7 of 9 after the bye, the way that we started, I think this group is getting better. There were some things that we can certainly clean up. I do think the conditions were a factor. And, that's a team that has as much respect for me as anybody. They're so well coached. They got great personnel, and they were fighting for a lot of things tonight. And they made it a really tough, difficult game for us, and our guys came out on top. I think it's the players, and then I think, our coaching staff. Those guys have been steady. They've consistently brought the energy poured into them, but our players, they're resilient. They love football. They love preparing. They love the process. We challenged our guys a few weeks back to really say, hey, no matter what happens, let's make sure there's no regrets. After the Philly game, hey, there's X amount of days left that we're guaranteed. There's X amount of games, X amount of practices. Let's make sure that we bring everything that we've got every single day. And when we look back on this, no matter what happens, there's no regrets. And I think our guys have done that since then. And it just so happens that it's coincided with some good results. But I want to continue to see those guys have that same sort of approach, continue to try to have this upward trajectory. And it is nice to be able to continue to play meaningful games in December.
You guys control your own playoff destiny. What's your message to your team 10 days before?
It's the same. I don't know about all that. I just know that we've got the next game, and we're going to go do our best to be able to prepare to get ready, put together the right plans, put our players in the right spots, and then ultimately let's try to see if we can have it culminate in a great opportunity in that 3-hour window and see what it looks like. But I think our guys have been really steady and consistent, and we can only be one day at a time, one game at a time. That's what we'll continue to do. I'll let you guys handle all that kind of stuff, and we'll focus on trying to get ready for the Jets. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, worse than it looked on TV?
Saying the weather?
The weather.
I would imagine it was.
What was it like down there?
It was, I mean, there was moments throughout the game, mostly in the first half, where it was raining and it was coming down hard and you're not able to change out the balls and it's wet and it does limit your ability to grip it, to be able to throw it, control it. And so a lot of the different plays that maybe you would want to activate in some different settings are kind of crossed out off the play sheet for the given time. Now, it did have a little bit, different feel to it in the second half, but it was definitely an issue, particularly in the first half, Sam.
With the conditions early on, when did you guys kind of shift to know that, hey, we're going to have to really focus on time of possession to win the game?
I think it really felt that way throughout the game, because you could see the defenses were doing a good job being able to control it. They had the one big play to Kittle. I thought our defense settled in right there on the second drive and forced the field goal. It was a good job by Moody to be able to hit that long kick, but really it kind of felt like that was kind of the flow of the game throughout. Did feel like offensively our guys were able to get into a little bit of a rhythm in the second half. We just didn't finish drives in the red zone, but we got a couple explosives. We were able to get down in tight position. The holding call where it comes back, when you're down on the 4-yard line, that was a challenging one. That moves us back, takes us, out of possible 4-down range where you're going for it. And so we'll have some great opportunities to be able to learn from it, but it felt like really throughout the course of the game, that was kind of the flow of it.
We do Jordan and Gary.
Thank you. A few plays before Darius's interception, Kello had a deep pass breakup.
Yeah.
Secondary allowing explosive pass plays this year's been up and down, but how did you see those two guys prepare tonight and step up for you when they did?
I thought Akella was awesome. I really, and you felt that from very early on. They tried a little, kind of play action double slant. He ends up breaking that up. Jordan was able to come over the top. Cam Kitchens had a big one when they tried to activate Debo down the middle of the field. But Aubrey does a great job with those guys. And in a short week, getting them ready for such a challenging opponent, I thought they really answered the bell. Even Cam Curl, I'm thinking about on the down the sideline shot on their near sideline to Kittle, gets his eyes back. Q did the same type of thing. And so felt like it was a great, team effort. All those guys made plays, but Akella was outstanding. Was really proud of him, and that's a cool deal to be able to, come back here and play the way that he did.
Last one, kind of a double question.
Yeah.
What was your thinking on the read option for Matthew down near the goal line? And after scoring 40,
What, you didn't like that?
I thought it was interesting.
Seems like you're critiquing my call there, Gary.
What was your thinking going into that? And then also, after scoring 44 points,
Not very good thought there, huh? After he got the holding call? Go ahead.
against the Bills and not scoring a touchdown, do you come off the field and it's like, it doesn't even matter? Because
Oh, yeah. Our goal is to try to be able to come away with the result. And I'm really proud of the way that we played team football. And you could feel that was the kind of game it was going to be. Now, would we love to be able to finish some of those drives in the red area? No doubt. But that defense is playing really well. I thought they did a good job. They limited some things. There was some decisions when I look back that I did not like that I made in real time. The read option, I didn't think that was as bad as you made it sound like. But, I'm just kidding, Gary. No, the thought process was that, they're not expecting it, Gary. So, he ended up, that didn't work out for us, but sometimes it's a way of being able to gain back a hat, when you're able to read somebody instead of having to block them. And they did a great job being able to string it out. Ultimately, it got the hold, but I thought he showed some toughness and some grit right there. It looked like a potential face mask on that one, too. So it was a great job by our guys, but it was, I was proud of them. Different ways that you can win football games, and those style points, we'll take it. Proud of this group. Thanks, guys.
Weather was obviously a factor in some of the adjustments in the second half, but what did you notice about those adjustments after halftime that led to basically nearly double the advantage in time of possession for you guys?
Yeah, we just executed a little bit better. I didn't think it was bad in the first quarter. The ball, was fine. I didn't play good enough on third down early. And then the second quarter got a little sloppy out there, a little messy. It was tough to hold on to the football, do anything really in the pass game. Our guys did a nice job, moving the ball, running it. And in the second half, the weather was good enough, good enough to do it all. And, I thought our guys up front did a really nice job. Kyron ran it tough. Our receivers blocked on the edge. And then, we made a couple plays in the pass game. And like Coach was saying, that you could kind of get the feeling that was the kind of way this game was going to be played. It was going to have to be one of those games. And, he scored 44 4 nights ago or whatever it was, and come out here and scored 12. They both count for one. Sure, I would love to, not hit Hufanga in the chest on third down. I would love to not do that and score a bunch of points, but you got to play each play as it is and each game as it is, and we got to win.
The read option. And then a couple sneaks, and you picked up a third and long with your legs.
Yeah.
Well, you did slide to get the first down.
Wouldn't have gotten it.
But how's your body feeling? And in those kind of gotta have it moments
Yep.
like that, do you just want the ball in your hands?
Yeah, body, we'll figure that out later. I'm not worried about it. I got 10 days. It's December, our season's on the line every single week. We go out there. It was going to be tough to throw the football in the long run, and they also clouded the concept and did a nice job of covering it up. So at that point, it was time to go. And then wasn't exactly sure where I was, but I wasn't going to be, sliding a half-yard short backed up and making Sean go for hey, are we going to go for this or punt it right here? So needed that. And a couple of the sneaks, yeah, they were good. First one was good. The second one, I think Fred knew it was coming. So I tried to give him a little something and go the other way, and I asked him if I got him, but he didn't say much. And then the zone read, I love the call. I thought Fred did a great job of reading out of the stack on that one. Unfortunately we get the holding penalty, whatever. At any point we get down that close, man, I'm doing anything we can to try and score. And if it's me surprising everybody in the stadium that I'm still holding on to it, trying to get in, I'm all for it.
Does December football feel different?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, this is what it's all about. It's what you work so hard for. I just think back on, all the OTAs, all the August training camp days, all the early season injuries and struggles and things you got to overcome to try to give yourself a chance to have an opportunity to play meaningful football in this month. In my career, I've had a bunch of Decembers, not a bunch, but quite a few Decembers that, you were just trying to play good football to play good football. We have an opportunity to keep our season alive every single time we go out there and play, and that's a whole lot of fun. And, I think our team, showed we can win football games kind of any way you want in about a 4-day span. So we got to continue to get better. By no means was it a great performance by us as an offense tonight, but, man, that was some good team football.
Sean was talking about that, just learning how to win in different ways. What does a game like this tell you about this team?
Yeah, I mean, it's what it takes this time of year. You can't sit there and go, hey, we're going to go out there every single week, and go whatever we did, 80% on third down and score 44 points and light up the scoreboard. You might have a weather game, who knows? Next week might be, a weather game, whatever it is. You got to find ways to win the football game. Got to be tough mentally and physically, and we are that. So got to continue to try to execute as good as we possibly can to make these games, more advantageous for us. But at the same time, they all count for one at this point, and any way you can get them we'll take them.
Sean said after the Eagles game, he talked about how, I think he said it was 39 days left and what that's guaranteed and what that could mean. What did you take away from that conversation?
No, I mean, he's exactly right? It kind of goes back to what I was just saying, right? You spend all this time, this year, your entire life for a lot of these guys, and myself included, just working for moments like this, and you say, okay, sometimes you kick off September 1 and you go, man, there's a lot of football, to be played. It's a daunting sometimes to look at the whole chunk, and he kind of broke it down for us and did a hell of a job going, hey, there's this many days left, and everybody's going 39 days. I mean, I can do that, and so it's a great way to kind of galvanize the group. I thought it was an awesome message. He does such a great job in front of our team at all times, but that was one that, definitely resonated with the group, and guys are rallying behind it and continuing to do whatever we can to try and win games.
Hey, Matt, what type of zone, is the connection between you and Puka right now?
Oh, it's good. Obviously had the big one down the field today. A couple of intermediate. It was tough to throw the football in some instances, but he did a nice job. Played physical as he always does. It was a group effort for sure.
Gary, then Jordan. 5 games in a row, no turnovers.
I tried to break it early for you.
But how important is that efficiency, even if you're not throwing touchdown passes, in terms of the way you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously I put 2 in harm's way today that I wish I wouldn't have. One of them felt like I saw the coverage really good, and just didn't see the top shelf there. Wasn't expecting with 2-2 running down the middle of the field that we would get clamped down on like we did. But it was a great play. Throw it to the guy that has a club on his hand. But But no, I mean, it was a difference in the game, right? D. Will gets a pick for us, and we go down and get some points, and that's a huge one. I got to do as good a job as I possibly can on staying aggressive, but also taking care of the football. I got definitely some things I can look at and work on from this football game. But always going to be aggressive and try to make plays for our team. But it was a big one, so don't ask me about 6 next week. Thanks.